Hello, YouTubers, friends, and the like. This is Grant Travels. Well, my new name is The Grant Adventures. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's April 29th, 2025 at around 11 a.m. and I'm here with an airplane.
Hello, everyone.
And we have to show you the conclusion of the video that I first started. Switch the camera view over. That right there is the generic case that the gun comes in, and I'll show it. I'll have him demonstrate for you. Normally it would come with the gun cleaner and the gun lock, but we've moved that over to the other case.
And to tell you people that for the sake of instructions, instead of using this key to open it and make it faster,
Yeah.
to unlock it, we made it go faster. By the way, just a disclaimer, this gun is unloaded and secured.
Yeah. I suck at playing two-man cameraman, so I'm gonna try to get everybody in the picture. But just for YouTube, disclaimers. The gun is obviously still locked in a the secured cable lock. You can see no magazine in the barrel or nothing, so we're free to point it at anybody if we had to. Obviously we don't want to flag each other or nothing like that, but I mean it's unlocked, but we have to say that for disclaimer in the video, or YouTube likes to take any videos down that have to do with the actual physical gun if you don't take the time to display gun safety. So,
And also to let you guys know, if you ever carry a gun, even if it's unloaded, always treat it as if it's loaded.
yeah, that's the #1 rule.
Okay, fight with me, key.
#2 rule is keep your trigger finger off the trigger. And #3 rule is don't point it at anything you don't plan on killing. And then the #4 rule is if you do plan on shooting something, make sure that the target audience behind whatever you're trying to shoot is clear, because you could unintentionally shoot somebody else. Exactly.
Don't do that.
I get it, yeah. I get it. I gotta zoom out a little. There we go. I got the picture better. Yeah. So what I decided to buy, like I think I went over in the video before, is the smaller compact version of a Glock 2021. The service duty weapon for a lot of cops is a Glock 21, which is a 45 ACP caliber. It's chambered in. Or you have the 9mm, which I believe is a 19. It's the full. I might be wrong on that, the full size for the 19 for the 9mm, because I didn't carry that. But I carried 45, and Glock 21 would be the full-size version of this. This is a Glock 30 short frame. The idea being this is a smaller frame and a slightly smaller slide than what a 21 would be. And if I had a 21 to display it, I would show you, but basically they're about 1 inch longer each way. The grip is about 1 inch longer. This is a capacity of 10 plus 1. The Glock would be 15, so it'd be down there. And then your barrel would be longer to compensate for that. As a regular service duty weapon, but I wanted to carry it concealed all the time instead of a regular duty service weapon like a cop would carry out in the open. So I went with the best option of both worlds, and I looked at all the reviews, and the Glock 30 apparently has the best recoil. I haven't shot it yet to find out, but for 45 compact, not subcompact, it would be the best option. There is also a subcompact you can go with that's single stack. This is a double stack. Right there. Double stack magazine for 10. There's a subcompact, I forget what the serial number of it is, but basically it's 5 rounds. But your states that I'm worried about, like California and some other restrictive gun states, have a magazine limit of 10 rounds only. And to be able to travel all the way around, I wanted to try to comply with everybody. So I decided to compromise and go with 10 rounds. Everybody normally wants more than that. I have 2 magazines I can fill. Legally in California, you can carry an extra mag with another 10 round, because that's what the gun comes with. So this all comes with the store manufacturer, and according to California, as long as it comes with the manufacturer that way, you can carry it that way. So I would have 10 plus 1 if you wanted, and then 10 extra, which would be more than enough. You just have to do the refill. Get really fast on your slide refill, but like an old cop told me once, if you're shooting more than 5, you're just spraying and praying anyway.
And also to let you guys know, Please check your state laws and check to see if you can travel interstate.
Yeah. And so the biggest thing is if you get a, well, first of all, you should get a carry permit to carry concealed, whether your state requires it or not. We live in Montana as residents, and the state of Montana recently went constitutional carry, which means we can carry concealed or open carry in the state of Montana as residents without any problems. We don't need no permit or nothing.
Except for state buildings and federal buildings.
Yeah, except for the limitations of state and federal buildings, but anywhere else we can carry without any issues. So we technically don't need a permit as long as we're just staying in this state. However, I'm going to be traveling, and other states require a permit. So
and some states will recognize Montana as the conceal without a concealed weapons permit.
Yeah, it comes down to, I think on the map it was like the New England states. I think it might have been California, Oregon, New Mexico, and Illinois have issues even with the permit, but that's only 5-6 states out of 48. So, 3/4 of the states will recognize the permit. So to me, it's worth getting the permit and the time because I'm more legal as I go traveling with it. But this video is about the pros and cons of traveling with a gun. Obviously, the pro would be protection. You have a third option. You no longer have to go with just the hide and call 911 or the try and run away or the try to bum rush the guy that has the gun. Now I actually have a gun to protect myself if something were to happen. Gives me the front door option because sadly, depending on where you're at, it's a 3 to 5 minute response time for 911. And so, as we all know, everything happens within a minute to 3 minutes. So a lot of times cops are responding reactively instead of proactively to the situation. By the time they get there, things might be too late.
And also when you're talking about the cleaning rod.
Yeah.
Sorry about the noise. You just heard the cable to the guns.
Yeah, so I could carry anything in a different case legally in California and other states that are required. The case actually helps my benefit to get metal case instead of this plastic because the manufacturer, some TSA airports, TSA is one agency, but depending on the airport, they all act differently from what I've heard. And so I decided to take my time and buy a metal case. And then not only just a metal case, but it has the 2 different compartments. And I could carry anything in those, in even the states of California, as long as it comes from manufacturer. The cleaning rod, the 2 magazines, the gun, the the gun lock, all come from the manufacturer, so it's lawful to carry it without issues. But I like the idea that, yeah, he's hooking up the cable there, and you can hook that into a roller bag luggage or whatever and check it for the airlines. So that if somebody were to get into your roller bag luggage, they now have to get past that cable lock for the case to get to the gun. And then even if they got into the case, they'd still have to get past the cable lock that's on the gun itself. So I'm trying my best to have multiple different options. I would have TSA locks on my roller luggage, then you have the locks on this, then you have the cable lock locking that to the luggage, then you have the cable lock on the gun.
And for a demonstration, it's going to try. Want to use your hand? Because my hands are full.
What?
No, try to pull it.
Try to pull it? Yeah, well, yeah, this cable's pretty sturdy. It doesn't look like it. It looks like
Yeah,
it's
it's
rubber.
going to try to.
But it's actually built with metal underneath it. So this would be hard. You'd have to have a pair of actual cutters to get through that, and you'd have to be equipped.
And we're just using the arm as a demonstration as it's locked.
Yeah.
Secured.
Yeah, so it. And then a lot of TSAs, they want the gun separated from the magazine. Or they want the gun separated from the rounds, and they want the magazines unloaded, which is going to be annoying, and I'll have to put it in the actual ammo box it comes with to carry the ammo separate. And it just depends on the TSA. Each TSA is slightly different, even though it's the same agency. Some airports require separate compartments. Some are fine with all in one compartment. I just decided to buy a case that has 2 separate locking compartments for that reason.
And some of them want the clip to be separate with no ammunition.
Yeah.
But you can use like a dummy round, which is the plastic rubbery deal that if you want to protect your spring, you can put that in there, and TSA will know that's a dummy round.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you have the compartments separated anyway and locked, they're not going to be as big a deal as they would if the gun was in there with something that they did or did not know about, and it's all in one compartment. That's why I bought this case that has 2 compartments. Specifically so that I can easily separate the gun from the magazine and from the rounds.
And most TSAs will ask you to have 2 separate compartments to make it universal clear that you're not intentionally.
And that's so that they can open it and fast and easily look and see the gun is open, and it would have the lock on it, which you can put on the lock on it if you want.
And we'll demonstrate this. So it's actually showing the video that's being resecured.
And the whole point of the bright orange lock like that is to identify that that gun is locked open. And the slide is not allowed to come back with the cable lock on there like that. Which would mean the gun stays out of battery and you can't use it. Even if you tried to get around up here by itself without the magazine, you can't use it because of that cable lock. The slide won't function, so it makes the gun inert essentially until you get that off of it. And the Glock case already came with one of these to lock in, so I'm going to use it until it should work fine for now because it's an obvious thing, the black gun and the bright orange cable lock. You can see from a mile away that thing is unlocked and the slide is open.
And also, you guys know, if you really need a cable lock, you can go down to any place that sells guns. They might give you one for free, or go down to your local police station or federal police and ask for a child protection lock, and they'll give you one.
Yeah,
for little to no cost.
That's also good to know. I didn't know that until you pointed it out. But that's the whole setup I have right at the moment. I just only plan on carrying the 2 magazines and the gun in that case, and then obviously down the line here I'm going to get the holster and the ammo and all of that. But coming up here, I ran short of money, so I'm going to have to Amazon the rest of that over to him to hold for me when I get back. But for the moment, my plans this next month is to go out and take 4 or 5 trucks without the gun, because it's just, there's pros and cons to doing this. If every time you fly, I have to pack this around with me for the security of the plane, so that they can check that in my checked luggage. And the gun itself is 5.5 pounds. The case is 3 pounds or something like that. So it's a total of like 8.5 pounds. And then that's plus your ammo box or ammunition's in there and whatnot. So I'm going to be pushing somewhere around 9 pounds, I think, just in this whole deal. Just with this in this case. This is the original Glock display case that's staying with me because some airports, do, even though this is hard plastic, won't accept the regular manufacturer case. I don't know why. They want the metal case. So I don't know why Glock even supplies a case that manufacturers don't like. Maybe this is too easy to crack open, would be my guess, or too hard to lock with the handle. Not sure, but some airports don't like this. Some don't care. You could get away with some airports. Your local airport might allow you to fly with this if you call them and ask. But all airports will allow you to fly with something that's, basically certified metal. And like I say, I have the separate compartments for that reason. So that you can lock the gun up. You could show the gun to them without unlocking everything else, or vice versa. Unless they want to see it all, yeah. Essentially, it's 2 cases in one, really, when you have 2 separate locking compartments. But obviously, for ease, I wanted to keep everything in one place, so that's the best way to get around that rule, is you can have everything in one case, but 2 different cases in one.
And try not to, when you want it, try not to. What I'm doing is trying to point the gun down.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but right here it can be locked.
Yeah. In that one section, you have to wiggle it around a little to get it, but yeah.
And also, we like to apologize for the noise and stuff. We have a refrigerator in the background going, and that little ding.
I also have my notifications on for my other phone because we are currently on Spark and DoorDash if they were to ding us to go to work, which will be on our next video, but that's why that's dinging away. So the next 4 or 5 trucks I'm going to take, I won't have the gun with me just because it's faster and easier to not check anything. And if I don't want to bring a bag, you're kind of forced to bring a checked luggage bag in order to bring the gun to fly in airlines with. And I wanted to basically make money faster, so when I leave here this time around, the gun's going to stay here for the moment. And I might just have to take the risk again for 4 or 5 trips. Get money built up, come back and take the CCW class, and that's the other reason I'm not taking the gun with me, is because the legalities of going through a state that's not as gun friendly, and then I don't have the permit. So
and just for you guys to know what CCW is, it's Concealed Weapons Permit.
Yeah, it allows you to carry concealed in most states. About 3/4 of the states accept it. However, if I were to leave this state and start carrying concealed without a permit, your Second Amendment right covers it, kind of, but there are some states that are more liberal than others, and vice versa, and they don't like guns. And just having a gun on you without a permit can cause its own problems.
And most police will frown upon it.
Yeah. And just the permit itself shows you took the time and to go get some training on the gun itself. So at the bare minimum, you look better.
And most police say if you conceal and conceal, always tell them that you conceal and conceal. If you don't have the gun on you at all, say you left out the house and decided not to carry,
Yeah.
just let them know that when they run it, say you have a concealed weapons permit.
Yeah, it's,
then you just tell them that I'm not carrying it. That's why I'm not.
that's exactly how you want to say it too. You don't want to yell and scream, "I have a gun," because obviously that can cause confusion. So you want to say, "Officer, I have a concealed weapons carry permit."
And I have the gun on me,
And then
or
kind of,
I have not.
yeah, don't point it.